welcome! This is going to be a video on FOAMSTARS discussing the foam guns that every FOAMSTAR has. We've talked about the characters, we've talked about the abilities, but now we'll talk about the specific weapons they have. So first things first is, of course, Soa. Soa has, as it says in-game, a close range speed style with her continuous barrage twin handguns. Now, these twin handguns are actually pretty strong, to be perfectly honest. I think a full clip does just about 300 damage, maybe? Oh, a lot more than 300. Never mind. 393.75, which means one volley does 11.25. That's pretty strong. They do fire at a decent rate. They foam pretty decently. I mean, it's enough to get some coverage in front of you and maybe use as a rollout. So I'd give it an A. Again, each shot or each volley does 22.5 damage. It's sort of on the middle end of the spectrum, as there's some that only do 15, and the highest is actually 67.5, but we'll get to that. But in general, Soa's shots are actually really good. Her twin handguns are pretty good, so I'll put it in the A tier. So next up, we are going to go to Agito. And Agito is very similar to Jets, who we'll get to very soon, but it has a fall off. So each individual pellet, I think, only does like 10 damage, I think? Let's see if I can get close enough. Oh, each just 10. Okay. So each pellet does 10 damage. A full shot normally, if you hit it normally, is 50. That was 37.5. Huh. Well, I must be seeing something differently then. So yeah, each does about, 35, but that's for 2. So full volley does about 50. But if you hit it straight on, it does 62.5. That is by far one of the highest singular projectiles you can get. And you can hear the difference because as soon as you shoot it, you'll hear this little pop. Yes. And 62.5 is a lot more than half of one FOAMSTAR's health. So yes, it is an A tier weapon. If you can get close enough. If you cannot get close enough, I'd put it in B. Because again, it does have about each 10 damage a pellet, and a full does about 50. But if you get up close, it's 62, and you're basically killing someone in 2 shots. Unless they're a beginner player, because beginner players. Alright, so who is the next character we are going to? I believe we are going to Tonix, correct? Yes, we are going to Tonix. Tonix's is probably an A tier weapon. Now, hear me out. Maybe S, if you're good with it. The reason why I say this is because a single volley does 50 damage. Yes, that's right. A full volley does 50 damage. You hit 2 of those, someone's chilled. It doesn't even have that much lag on it either. You fire that and you do it again. Now, it has lower DPS than Soa's, but again, Soa has to be up close to hit those shots. Tonix can be, I don't know, pretty far away. And you can get 100 damage. And yes, I'm Kazi simping Umi. I'm sorry. Also, this is live on stream, by the way. Make sure to follow the stream in the description. But yes, I am doing that because it is a really good weapon. The charge shot also does 50. So again, Tonix, no matter when she shoots her normal weapon, will get 50 damage regardless. Now, is it super strong? Yes, if you can aim correctly. But even if you cannot aim correctly, it does have some of the highest damage potential in the entire game. Even though Agito's does 62.5, you have to be close and get that critical shot. Whereas Tonix, you can be super far away and hit all the shots and get 50. Now again, they're slow and they spread a little bit. And you can spread them because each pellet does about 10 damage. But if you're like on top of someone, like for example, I've seen Al Rathi, I believe one of the Tonixes I've seen before, literally come up like this, do this, jump up, and hit the 50. So yeah, very strong weapon, probably S tier in general in terms of just raw damage potential and if you can use it correctly. But in the average hands, probably an A. So now we get to my favorite. And my favorite is Jet's. Because Jet has 3 different styles of shots. First shot, just 37.5 up close. And 37.5, you know, as long as you hit all of the shots. His first charge shot also does 37.5 damage, but the first doesn't stun. But if you get to the second charge does 50 damage and can stun, and if you're lucky, can actually hit twice. See? And that does an extra 33.4 damage.
Okay.
So, suffice to say, it's probably a B tier weapon. Again, 37.5 is a nice shot damage, and you know you can hit someone and kill them, chill them in about 3 shots. But you have to be up close for it. And yes, Jet has some options with their abilities, of course, getting in the shield, and the shields can literally have you have infinite ammo. So it's a nice tool to keep them away. And with the dive, you can dive. If you hit a dive, then what you can do is use 2 shots from your primary fire, and they're going to be chilled. Because I believe the dive stun does, what, 25, I think? Let's see. Yeah, it does 58. So you do have to hit at least 2 of them, because the 58 and 37 won't be enough to be a full, you know, full damage hit. So it's going in the B tier, again, because of the fact that you have to use charge shots to probably zone people away. But as a close range weapon, it's still pretty good. 37.5 is nothing to snuff at. So next we are going to Penny Gwyn. And Penny Gwyn has a slightly slower fire rate than Soa. But a full clip, I believe, still does about 300-ish damage. 400 damage. There we go. So each individual shot, I believe, is 15, right? Yes. Each individual shot does 15. So that is on range as one of the lowest projectile damages in the game. I believe it's tied with characters that you see coming up, which I believe are, what, Baristador, Mel, and maybe, I think, Rave? Possibly in a Chloe non-charge shot. I think those are the only ones that are also 15. So Penny having a 15 isn't too bad. And her general shot fire isn't too terrible. I probably, again, I'm going to give it, I'll probably put it in C, but maybe bump it up to B if you're good with it. Because again, it is a slower projectile, but each shot does 15 damage. And that means all you really need is 6 shots to shoot. To chill. And a full clip does 400, so you get the math. You can chill 4 people in one singular clip if you're good enough at it. But again, she doesn't have a secondary shot like most of the other characters. Or, well, some of the other characters. So, to C you go for now, but B if you're good with it. So now we're going to get to Rave. And, oh gosh, I'm streaming this, aren't I? Alright. I'll do it. So each individual shot from Rave to 17.5. Yeah, my scaling makes sense. Okay, so here's my reasoning on why Penny is the same. The reason why is it's 15 damage. 15 damage, no secondary shot ability, and most of Penny's shots, or most of Penny's damage will come from the skills because of the stuns. Yes, it is a decent one. I will give it that. The damage number is low. Yes, I will give it that. Actually, you know what? Whatever. Alright, cool. Okay, B. Thank you, Lumi. Okay. I have changed it to B. Thanks to Lumi. Alright? See what streaming does to this? So, anywho, now that it's in B, and most B tier is, like, filled up, I'm going to go with this one, and I'm going to give it an A. I'm going to say it right now. 17.5 on a hose where you can literally fire it from back here. Yeah. Like, again, it does as much as Penny's, 402.5. But the thing is like, it has so much range. Again, that's why Tonix is also an A, because you can do 50 from this amount of range. But in this general vicinity, like with the amount of space you can get with Rave, it's just ridiculous. Like, being able to deal that much consistent damage with a hose, no less, which is only 2 characters in the game with, being a DPS character is definitely something, nothing to scoff at. So, it's definitely going in A. because of how much it is. So, what's next? Okay. Scaling, yes. The reason why is because of the fact that I am able to discern maybe the value. Because look at the range on this. Like, you can't tell me that the range on this and the amount of damage is not something you want from a character. Like, come on now. Anywho, moving on to the next character. Thanks to me, Lumi glazing, I guess. We will move on to the best character in the entire game. Baristador. Unfortunately, it's probably going to fall into B. Now, the reason why I say that is because Barista does less damage than, well, not less damage than Rave. I think the only issue is that Barista, while having a longer range, it fires out slower. And you do, like, you can have range on it. Don't get me wrong, the chip damage is absolutely fantastic. But it's mostly for just pushing people away, making sure they don't get close. I mean, each shot does 15. Each shot does 15. I will say that right now. Each shot does 15. But I think the issue is that Rave's does 17.5 and can actually challenge people up close. While Barista's is more of a long-range weapon, so it doesn't have to do 15. Or it doesn't have to do 17.5, it just needs to do 15. It needs to do its job of shooing people away. Hence why it's B. Again, it's not a DPS weapon. It's meant to be a support weapon. So there's that. Moving on to the next DLC character, which is Mel T. Now, Mel T is probably also going to go in the A. The reason why is because each volley does 45 damage. And if you have been playing for any sort of amount of time, you know how annoying it is to get 3-tapped by a Mel T. Just standing on the other side of the map, being like this. Just standing here and just shooting cones. Yep, just doing this. Just getting value by standing here. The range on it is indeed pretty far. It's around the same, if not longer than Rave's. Oh my gosh, actually it's longer than Rave's. Oh my goodness. You saw how Rave's was like right by the car? I'm able to shoot Mel T's cones from the dock. That's exceedingly far. So, yeah, definitely A. I'm sorry. Just the fact that you can go from this range and jump around and also do the same thing while targeting an enemy. I know it's a stationary target, don't get me wrong, but as long as they're in this square that you see on the screen, they're going to get hit with it unless they're fast enough. And most people are just going to look at it and be like, oh, I just got chilled by the Mel T from like halfway across the map. So, I don't know. But yeah, definitely A. I can't say anything different about it. It's just too good of a weapon. Plus the lock-on, it's too much of a cheat at this point. Alright, we're getting down to the last few. This one is, of course, going to be Coiff Guy. And Coiff Guy is also going into the A tier. Why am I saying this? Not only because of the fact that it is a huge projectile, and each shot does as much as Jet's at 37.5, but because of the fact that it is one of the few shots in the entire game that has knockback. Yes, that is right. If I had a player right here, and I shot them with this weapon, they would be knocked back. Just the amount of damage this does, the huge radius it has, also coupled with the fact that it has knockback, you couldn't ask for a better weapon, to be perfectly honest. I might even put it in S at this point. You know what? I'm putting S. Whatever. There we go. There it is. Coiff's is the best weapon in the game. If you aim it correctly, shoot at someone, 37.5 plus knockback, you can knock someone into the water with it. You can knock someone out of position with it. You can't knock them out of skills, you can't knock them out of SSSs, but at the same time, 37.5 damage on a mobile character like this? Yeah. Like, you can't go wrong with it, especially with the knockback. So then we get to Chloe. And Chloe actually has 2 different modes to their shots. I mean, you're right, Lumiya. Yeah, even good at close range, unlike Mel's. That's why I put it in S. Yep, exactly. That's why I put it in S. So Chloe's. Alright, so I have a Chloe expert in chat, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be okay with this. But this is also, like, I'd say B, but, like, high B. The reason why is because of the fact that each individual non-charge shot does 16.75 damage. But a full charge shot does 43. That means you unfortunately do have to hit 3 charge shots to chill someone. But if you're good at it, like at flicking, like that, you could probably chill someone pretty effectively with it. Now again, Chloe's kit is all about being a long-range character, so as you see by the shot guide that I have, it's okay. It's not as long as Mel T's range. It's a bit longer than Rave's, and it's about Baristador's. But at the same time, dealing 43.5 damage and it being a skill shot, I don't know, I feel like it should do more damage. I don't know. Because again, Coiff can just get, was it, 100% value out of 37.5. And Chloe has to put some effort to deal 43. I don't know. So like I said, that's why it's probably a high B. Because of the fact that you can do it a lot. Yeah. Okay, Lumiya. I'd put it at high C, low energy, high skill, small hitbox, and it's still a 3-shot. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. You know what? Low B then. I'll give it that low B. So you swayed me. Again, like I said, resident, was it chatter in the Twitch stream, Lumiya, is a Chloe main. So I do value their opinion highly on this one. And then finally, we have one singular character left, and that's Ramzey. Now, Ramzey is probably a better Soa in terms of the shots. Each individual does 10. But the thing is they're a lot faster, and you can deal a lot more damage with them. Actually, is it a lot more damage? No, deals less. You know what? Fine. Fine, low B with Chloe. There you go. Reason why, again, while it does have range, do they do 15 at close range? Oh gosh. Fine, it's still B. It's still B. Again, 15 damage at close range. So it's higher than Soa's. Around the same fire rate as Soa's too. With the little, what is it? I think it's what? 5% crit multiplier, I think, or 50% crit multiplier. So it's not bad. It's not double damage, but it's decent. But I think the reason why it's better than Soa's is look at the range on these things. And the amount of foaming that it does too. For these balls, it's ridiculous. You can just shoot them. And they get a lot more foaming than Soa's, because Soa's has to, once it hits the ground, it creates a foam area. Whereas Ramzey's, if you have it on the ground, look at the amount of foaming you can get. That's ridiculous. Like, that's just from one singular clip. That amount of foaming. So yeah, that's why I'm putting it in B. So, the worst, I guess, from what I guess the best shot in the game I said was Coiff's, TLDR. Best shot in the game is Coiff's, worst shot in the game is Chloe's. There we go. That's what I'm saying. So, again, if you did enjoy this video, and of course you want to join for more videos, streams, make sure to check the stream in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later.